What's your name, sir?
Dr. Richard Gierak.
Now, word has it you've been fighting this battle for a long time.
I came up here in the late 80s to retire, and instead they went ahead in the 90s, listed the coho, and decided that 300 feet of my property from the river went under federal control, which means I couldn't put gravel or do a thing without a permit. So I fought them. I wound up hooking up with the Grange, and I wound up being the speaker for Idaho, Washington, Oregon, and California state Granges. We defeated them. 2 years later, we filed and we removed the coho listing completely.
Well, God bless you, sir. You know, that's the thing. It's people like you that stand up on these things. The amazing part about this is that right now, as far as the government goes, we have a situation where we don't really own anything. There really isn't anything that the government doesn't control.
Step out of the road, we're obstructing traffic. Appreciate it.
There isn't anything at all that the government doesn't control right now in your life, whether it be the light bulb you use, your land. People think they own their land, but they don't own their land. Try not paying your property taxes.
Right.
And you face this, head on, probably 100-fold more than most people. So my question to you is that how do you encourage people to have the courage that you've had all these years?
Well, I really don't know. All I know is that after we went ahead and dumped the listing both in Northern California and Southern Oregon, I wound up on the Homeland list as a paper terrorist. I'm still on that list. My phones are tapped. 2 months ago, my entire computer was encrypted. I couldn't access my own files. 4 days after, a text worked on it. He said, I can't break it. It's a federal program.
So that drone that I see up there that says, "Oh, my aching back," is the one that's watching you.
That's the one.
So anyway, right now, where is this process going to go? I know that I've talked to a number of people here. I know that Congress is trying to get involved. That the congressman in this area has tried to interpose and stand between the people and the federal government. Right now, what can Congress do to help the people in this county?
Well, several years ago, Congress passed 2 resolutions, one of them stating clearly that there will be zero funding for any dam removal in this country. The second potent resolution was that any organization that promotes dam removal will no longer receive any federal funding. However, of course, you know where that went, because who's in charge? He just vetoes everything. But that's the position of the Republican Congress at this time.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I know there's been a lot of interaction with that, but I'm trying to figure out what exactly the jurisdiction is of the Congress and your state representatives. What's the jurisdiction here in being able to interpose? What are some of the things they can do?
Well, basically, all we can really do is hold to the way those. I mean, let's face it, the only ones that are going to pay for dam removal is the Congress, and they are not going to fund it. So it's really a done deal as far as that aspect goes. However, all of the associated garbage regulations that go along with it are going to hurt everybody in this county and everybody up and down this entire river. And that's got to be stopped.
And so it always comes back to we the people, doesn't it?
That's absolutely correct. We the people are the cornerstone of stopping this. I mean, one of the neatest things I think that I ever accomplished, other than that series, is that in 2005, I believe it was, the environmental organizations wanted to propose the listing of Chinook all the way up to Klamath Falls. Well, I went ahead and found out they were doing it. So what I did is I went ahead and filed a delisting petition, even though it hadn't been listed yet. 2 weeks later, I get a call from a gentleman from Washington, D.C., saying there is no provision for using a delisting petition when it hasn't been listed yet. However, I will go ahead and review your material when I'm listing. They didn't list the Chinook.
Oh, my goodness.
I thought that was the biggest coup that I pulled off yet.
Unbelievable. Well, any parting words for folks out there on what you believe and where we need to go as a country? And I know that the state of Jefferson really could be the silver bullet. In fact, I believe it is.
Yeah.
In the fact that in a short 28 months, we have 21 counties that have signed declarations as the remedy for dilution of vote and non-representation. When you look at all this and you see this happen so quickly, and the result of what's happening here today with all these people, does that give you hope that in the future we can gain back our liberty?
Boy, if we don't keep the Republican Party in force, we're going to lose it all. That's the best thing I can say, is keep the Republican Party in force.
Well, sir, I have to say you're a patriot. It's been an honor talking to you, and thank you very, very much for all you do, sir.
Well, thank you for the interview.
You bet.